Military vehicles have rolled into the White House over fears another night of violent protests could break through defenses. Police will spend another tense night in Washington D.C. as thousands of furious protesters edge closer to the White House, with the military arriving to strengthen support around the U.S. president's home. Audible explosions could be heard from the White House's Rose Garden, where Mr. Trump gave his press conference tonight, as protesters clashed with police in Lafayette Park across the road. The days of protests were triggered by the death of George Floyd, an African-American man who died when a white Minneapolis police officer pressed his knee into Mr. Floyd's neck for several minutes even after he stopped moving and pleading for air. 9 military vehicles arrived at the White House earlier this evening as Washington D.C.'s 7 p.m. curfew approached and night fell. Outside the White House, military personnel joined Secret Service police in military uniforms, along with the National Guard and other levels of law enforcement, who surrounded protesters at Lafayette Park. Mr. Trump's brief statement tonight was just minutes before Washington D.C.'s night curfew was scheduled to come into effect, with fears the Capitol could now descend into chaos as protesters and the military clash. Speaking to reporters from the Rose Garden over the audible bangs and helicopters flying ahead, Mr. Trump called on Americans to stop the violence. All Americans were rightly sickened and revolted by the brutal death of George Floyd. My administration is fully committed that for George and his family, justice will be served, Mr. Trump said. He will not have died in vain. But we cannot allow the righteous cries of peaceful protesters to be drowned out by an angry mob. The biggest victims of the rioting are peace-loving citizens in our poorest communities, and as their president I will fight to keep them safe. I will fight to protect you. I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters, but in recent days our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa and others. The destruction of innocent life and the spilling of innocent blood is an offense to humanity and a crime against God. America needs creation, not destruction. Cooperation, not contempt. Security, not anarchy. Healing, not hatred. Justice, not chaos. This is our mission and we will succeed 100%, or we will succeed. Our country always wins.